I know you gonna love this. This is Rob Haze.
He tell us about his desire for lean and how he was limping for almost a month. You don't want to miss it.
Tony's a cute, my love is pure. Tony's a cute, my love is pure.
Show your love for Taquita Love. Comedy is cure.
I heard of you a lot in the streets, the comedy streets.
Oh, no.
No, I'm saying this is like, 'cause most of the comedians.
I heard of you in the streets.
In the comedy
man, I'm about to
streets.
get exposed.
Most of the comedians that I've had on the podcast, like I've been in the comedy streets with them since, for 10 years, and we got like stories where remember the dude and and with you, it was I don't want to say you came out of nowhere, but like for me, I heard about you and then it was like, who is this dude that's killing it and on all the shows and late night and just like ripping through comedy. And so I've heard of you. I think Brandy Denise was the first person that was like, Rob. Yeah. I think you did her podcast.
She was the first guest on my podcast, the Inconsistent Podcast with Rob Haze. I met Brandy like my first year in comedy. She was in Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay.
And so, I've known her since like 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I've known her forever. Probably, what year is this? Yeah, about probably a little bit after that when she was in Chicago.
Okay.
But I heard of you through her.
Okay.
And then I was like, I just saw you all over LA. I just saw your name. I saw, everybody was like singing your praises. And then one day, we did a show together. I don't know what show we did.
That show at the Improv.
That show at the Improv, yeah. And I bombed.
Yeah.
I low-key bombed.
I wouldn't say that.
He gonna say, thank you. Black men uplifting the sisters. He's like, no, you just, But that was the first time I actually worked on stage with you. I think on a show, I think we worked at open mics maybe.
I see you all the time, like fighting for parking spots at the store.
Really? Fighting? Oh yeah, in the
in the little side lot. Yeah. Luckily, I got like a electric vehicle, so I can get those spaces you can't get. But
I'll be sweating when I get out the car, and you be like, doop doop. You be like, just like, you just roll off. Like, I'll be fighting, be like, But then, so I love your comedy. Period.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're very intelligent with your comedy, your words, and your wordplay, all that.
I mean, I'm a big old dummy, but I like to have fun. I like to have a good time. Yeah.
But I wanted to know what was your comedy journey like? Meaning, like, when you start?
I started in Atlanta. I really actually started in Athens, Georgia. I went to the University of Georgia, and my senior year, I started in 2009. And then, I graduated on a Saturday. That next Sunday, I was, in Atlanta at Uptown Comedy Corner, doing an open mic.
Really?
And basically, was going up every night. If I wasn't going up, I was at a comedy show. If I wasn't at a comedy show, I was watching comedy. It was just hardcore, intense, but I was all about it. There wasn't comedy on television that I wasn't consuming, whether it was late night, whether it was specials, whether it was interviews, whatever it was. I was on top of it.
Okay.
But
what was your degree in?
Poli-sci, political science.
Okay.
And then a film minor.
Okay.
But yeah, I discovered comedy at the end. I'm I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just I didn't get into the journalism school. I was just I just wanted to get out, and I knew you didn't need a journalism degree to be a journalist. So I was just all right, that's cool, but a degree helps. But a journalism degree is not necessary. So I was let me just get a degree in something that sounds official and start grinding. But then I fell in love with stand-up. It was the first thing I was ever good at.
Okay.
It was the first time I ever did something people I want to see you do that again. Let me know when your next show is. Oh man, I think you were the best one. sports that never happened, nothing else that really ever happened where I felt like, oh, this is what it feels like to be good at something. And so, I just kept moving that energy forward.
So Atlanta was the stomping grounds, which breeds so many very strong comedians.
Strong, funny comedians. It's like a hub in the South. I feel like the strongest comedians from all over the South flock there and flourish there. And then also you just have like so many funny people that just live in Atlanta. And yeah, it's just a great place to do comedy and start and be in front of audiences early. I feel for people that start out here or start in New York.
That would be me.
In front of nobody. And then just to get the chance to be in front of people, like that's insane to me.
Yeah, I started out here, and it was crazy because I was showcased. It was like showcase. 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Do that, and you don't want to. You want to make sure you got a tight TV set ready.
Yeah.
And so I was like stuck in that mindset, or that work ethic. That's all I knew. And then I went to Chicago. And my cousin Jay Washington was a comedian out there, and he introduced me to Chicago comedy. And literally, it wasn't like unlearn what you learned, but it's just like relax, let it go have fun, talk to people, be who you are. And so I'm so fortunate because I feel like Chicago, I feel like a stepsister or like a stepkid to the Chicago comedy scene, because although I started here, when I went to Chicago, I was able to get more chops. I was able to get stage time and able to work stuff out.
Yeah. I love Chicago. I always respected it. I always went there and I was like, all right, I got to bring it because it's some serious comedians here.
Yeah, they'll tell you like it is. My sister told me one day, she was like, I could have stayed at home for this. And I was performing. that's how tough.
Funny. Yeah.
She was like, And that's how it is. It's just like, they going to keep it 100 with you. So Uptown, Atlanta, that turned into
me just doing everything. I would do, there wasn't a roadmap. I feel like now there's different roadmaps for people who aren't necessarily on the beaten path or whatever. But when I was doing it, it was just kind of all right, there's super racially divided comedy is. There's the alternative scene, there's a mainstream scene, and there's an urban scene. And it's kind of most people just choose one and then go through that. And I always felt like the most successful people are kind of not under one umbrella. And so I always was I'm going to learn each of these scenes. So I would, the mainstream side, it was it was slower.
Yeah.
So, your opportunities, your stage time is less. The money doesn't exist. It's all about you got the opportunity to perform, blah, 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 And so then the alternative scene is you're not in clubs, you're not in established venues. You get tons of time.
Yeah.
But also, it's more about what you're saying than how you're saying it. And then the urban scene is super competitive, super cutthroat.
Yeah.
Your set could be 30 seconds if it
they don't mess with you, get them out of here.
Yeah. But at the same time, you find funny fast, and either you find, how to be funny yourself or how to be funny the way someone else is funny. But that pressure of, I could be booed, I could be humiliated, I could be, exercised or whatever, that just feels all right, I have to figure this out. And so I do think that doing all of that, I was able to get on stage 4 times a week, and then 7 times a week, and then 10 times a week. But because I was doing everything, all those experiences help when I travel.
Yeah.
You know, if I go to a spot and I figure out what kind of spot it is, there's no stopping me.
But you don't change your style. You don't change what you say and how you say it for those different rooms. You just learn how to like make it.
Sure. But sometimes it's like an approach.
Okay.
Sometimes it's an internal thing. Sometimes I like how I attack it. It's not even necessarily what I'm gonna do, but just like the energy I have inside, you know, is affected. You know, like I feel like if I'm in a place that I feel like, oh, it's kind of hood, it's kind of difficult, you know, my energy might be like, you guys can't tell me anything.
Yeah.
You know, versus I'm in a place and it's a more warmer environment. It might be like, oh, you know, let's play. This is open-ended. I don't know how where this is gonna go, but I'm in control, but also there's some variables there, you know?
Yeah, that's understood. I know when I started, I would do more mainstream rooms, and it literally was like, I don't want to say it was like a book report. I feel like they're very forgiving. Like I remember doing the set and I felt like I was reading, like in hindsight, it was like I felt like I was doing a book report, but they were just like, yay, we like you. And then it was just like, but then I went to the comedy union and it was like, you gotta sing, you gotta play that instrument, sis. You can't be up here talking about, you know, one fish, two fish, rare fish. You know what I'm saying? So like I learned like hook or crook, and just by being in an environment
hook or crook?
Yeah, by hook or crook, where it's like, that's a saying. It's
okay.
It's a saying where like by hook or crook, that means by any means necessary. You're going to get it done. You're going to make it work. It's something my mom
So
said,
the crook is like stealing material.
No, I'm not stealing. That's a saying. See, that's like.
The hook is like, all right.
I
got you. And the crook is like,
but I might steal from you too.
I stole, yeah.
That's not in that context. Like in the beginning, you was like, the name can be in different contexts. But comedy union, I remember nobody laughing. It's just like, yo, like you have to be personable. And so I put a different approach from being a nurse. I don't just go in somebody's room and be like, hey, here go your shot, bam. Yeah. You know, like some people you can go.
Could.
I could, but I would probably not be as successful.
Really?
Yeah. Just if here go your shot, bam, I might get hit. You know what I'm saying? I might get kicked. You know, you gotta let people, you gotta warm people up first.
I got you.
And so I learned more, you know, do some crowd work, you know, like talk to people. You know, like it ain't just like da-da-da-da. And that's how I learned how to survive or, you know, stay afloat. In the multiple rooms. I did Second City, UCB, sketch, improv. So those are my bearings in comedy. And then I think one day I was just, I was doing a show at UCB and nobody was like raving about how good my characters were or how my acting was or none of that. They were just like, your stories are so funny. And it hit me. It was just like, you know, like all the other avenues led me to tell your stories. Tell people like who you are. So that was kind of my journey.
I would have had a chip on my shoulder if they would have did that.
What?
Your stories like, nah, talk about my characters. Talk about my improv.
No, they were just like, you know, I didn't get any energy, any love. It was just like, your story about the girl, your story about your dad. And from that, a friend of mine had a boyfriend that was doing stand-up. And she's like, you need to get on stage. And I finally tried it. And I think 2 or 3 years later, I was like, laughs on Fox. And when I did that, I was like, I'm funny. And they aired like 20 seconds. I was like, Ma, everybody look at the TV. Like I was time zone and everybody look. And then of course it's just a journey. Like
yeah.
So tell us about how you got to late night.
How I got to late night? I don't know. I feel like I applied for late night for a long time. I feel like I was always interested and always like keeping up with late night. Even when I was a kid, I used to watch like they would replay Conan on Comedy Central at like 10 in the morning, and then like 6 at night. So I used to watch Conan all the time. Used to watch Marin and Louis C.K. and like all the guys, Gaffigan, all the guys that did late night back in the day. So I was always gunning for it. I always was interested in it. And then when I moved to New York, I just thought it was going to work out. Like I did JFL in 2015. And like I would watch everyone from my class like do late night. And it was like 3 years of me applying, and every show said no. Every show turned me down. Every show was like, these jokes, no, this joke doesn't go anywhere. What is this? Blah, blah, blah. And so it was really a process. But after a while, I was just like, I'm going to make a set that's so undeniable that somebody's going to want to put it on TV. And that's what I did. I would, and it's hard when you're doing sets and those sets determine your next booking.
Yeah.
But you're working on something and you're putting these rules on yourself. You're putting these parameters on comedy that audiences don't care about.
Yeah.
Audiences don't care. Oh man, well that was TV clean. He told us a little bit about himself.
Yeah.
But like they don't care about any of that. Oh man, that was an original joke that I never heard. They don't care about any of that. And so it's like you just have to care for yourself. And that's basically what I did. I like the set I did on the Tonight Show, none of that stuff I had when I did JFL. All that stuff was crafted from frustration and just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the, I look like a blah, blah, blah joke. I'm going to do the I had a terrible job joke. I'm going to do this like all the things that I was like, all right, these are all the things that I know go on a late night. No references to anything in pop culture. No, no shortcuts.
Okay,
no,
come on with the blueprint.
No shorthand. No, I'm making fun of this, phrase or trend or anything. I'm talking about this movie. None of that. Just straight life experience stuff, and that kind of informed some of my best stuff. Yeah. And then after that I did it again, and so and that late night like really like changed my career.
What year was it that you did late night for the first time, and then how did it change your career?
Well, I did televised stand-up, I did Laughs, I did Last Comic Stand, and I did Adam Devine's House Party, but I did late night in 2018.
Okay.
And then after doing that really helped me get in the door for my first writing job.
Which was
a Sherman showcase.
Okay.
And then from there, that was my me living in LA for the first time. And then from that, I got a ton of different writing jobs after that. And and then I've been writing consistently ever since.
What was your favorite writing job so far?
I love Sherman Showcase.
Okay.
Like it was my first job, but it's I mean, if there's ever been a show that was crafted just for my sensibility and experience, it's a sketch show based around a dance show that takes place in the past, kind of like a Soul Train.
Okay.
And so it's just like me, I love older music. I love black music. I love comedy. I love jokes. And so getting to write song parodies and for different artists and different songs and sketches in that whole wheelhouse was just like, everybody was telling me this is going to be like, it doesn't get better than this. This is going to be the most fun job. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to anything else in the future, but yeah.
Okay. And although you say you're not looking for anything else in the looking forward to anything else in the future, if there was a dream job better than the one you just described, what would that consist of?
Maybe just something super high concept, but like Like, let me get the keys to something crazy, like, you know, a Star Wars, a Back to the Future,
Okay.
you know, E.T. And not even like those franchises, but something that I make that has that type of impact.
Okay.
That like sparks the imagination, like those things spark my imagination.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we need more original stuff. I think like everything's a reboot, everything's a sequel. There are new stories to be told, and there are new ways to tell stories, and I want to figure out how to do that.
Okay. I agree. I do know they do say like if it ain't no need to reinvent the wheel, but also it's just like.
But everybody
different
is
types
like
of-
copying, like it's to the point where now like you read script writing books and they're like, oh yeah, just take a movie you like, see how they did it, and then copy that. And it's like, oh, we're watching a ton of movies that are copies of better movies instead of watching people figure out new ways to make movies. And so, like, one of the things I really like about Jordan Peele is it's like anti that.
Yeah.
What he's doing is figuring out new ways to like tell stories. And so, you know, it's funny because it's like the same thing with crafting a late night set. Audiences don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care that they've never seen it before. They only care whether they like it or whether they don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, they're being judged on a harsher scale, but it's kind of like, no, this is way different than me making another Star Wars that's very similar to two Star Wars put together, you know?
I think, I don't know, you know, the culture and just
Yeah.
the way society is, it's kind of like, we like that. We want to see it again.
Yeah.
But like,
But then go do that. Go see it. Just go watch
see
it
it again
again.
instead
Yeah.
of- but
It's
then-
available.
then the gatekeepers are like, we know that worked, so let's bring it back. Unless it's something that you take a huge risk on and it's like undeniable. Like I feel like Atlanta did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlanta was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like like when opportunity comes, it's like who gonna gonna go to bat for you. Mm-hmm. So, I'm looking forward to see what what else come out of your talent.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now?
Right now I have my podcast, The Inconsistent Podcast with Rob Haze.
Hey.
Working on a special, stand-up comedy special that's super personal. It's more like a one-man show, but it's full of jokes. It's called Frontin, and got some other stuff in the works.
Okay.
I can't really, you know.
This is everybody that's been
NDA's been signed.
Right.
You know what it is. You know.
everybody that has been on my podcast that live in LA.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, you know, I can't tell you right now.
Yeah.
Which is dope, because if you got some stuff where it's top secret, then
Yeah, I got a thing that it's been in my back pocket. I haven't been able to say. I don't know when it's gonna come out. Hopefully it comes out, but yeah.
that's dope. You know, my background's nursing, so
We've talked about it.
we did.
Yeah,
And like I was
yeah.
trying to navigate like how to stand out as a nurse and a comedian. Like how do you put the two together? And that's how this podcast was birthed. You
Okay.
know, bringing my funny friends and sharing like their journey, but also giving us some like a crazy medical story. Or do you have any unexpected trips to like the emergency room?
Sure. So I was moving apartments. It's me and my girlfriend, now fiance.
Hey, come on, y'all better put a ring on it.
Yeah, you see, you know, I'm engaged. Men, we don't get anything, so I just been doing this. But yeah, I'm moving a table. I have like one of these like modern tables where it's a circle and then it looks kind of, you know, it's like one of those 60s design tables or whatever, but it's like the IKEA version.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to move this table, but in order to move it, you really just got to totally take it all the way apart. And so there's a heavy base on the bottom, and then it gets real thin, and then the tabletop on the top. So I got the tabletop off. I'm trying to take apart the bottom. It's not coming apart. I get frustrated. I'm like, I'm just going to lift it. I go to lift it, the whole thing falls apart in my hand.
Was it glass?
No.
Okay. What
The
material?
base falls on my toe.
Okay.
The sharpest pain I've ever felt on my toe. I'm bouncing on one foot. I get down. I bounce all the way to like another room. I take my shoe off. The most blood I've ever seen leave my body is like coming from my foot.
Okay.
I'm like, call 911. My girlfriend thinks that I am joking. Mm-hmm. She's like, it can't be that serious. I'm like, no, seriously. Call 911. She calls 911. They come. They're like, are you okay? Can you walk? Blah, blah, blah. Can you move? I'm like, look at my foot, you know? And they're like, oh, man, that's fine. You're good. You know, it's like one time, you know, I hit my thumb with a hammer. It's like that. You'll be fine. I'm like, are you sure? Like, I'm losing a lot of blood. They're like, yeah, you're good. If you want to go to urgent care and get an x-ray, you can, but, you know, you're fine. So then I'm like, all right, let's go to urgent care. We go to the first urgent care. They don't have an x-ray machine. We got to go to another urgent care in another town. We go to urgent care there. They have an x-ray machine. And then we get there and they're like, you got to have stitches.
Okay. Wait, so someone from the ambulance came?
Yes.
EMT came
Yes.
and was like, we good. We can't do nothing with this. You're going to have to figure that out.
You're good. Yeah. 6 people. Like the most people that ever had been in my apartment. Like the fire department. Like it was it was like the most white people that had been in my apartment. And they were just all like, oh yeah, you're fine, dude.
Oh my God. So did you wrap it up? How did you did they do anything?
We wrapped it up, but it's still bad.
Look,
you know.
I wonder how much blood was it? Can you?
It was like it wasn't like a huge puddle, but it was like a small puddle of blood. Like it was like, you know how like when it's a lot of blood, it gets like that thick burgundy color. It's like it was like that.
Okay.
It wasn't like
quarter size.
Sure. maybe a little bigger than that, but it was significant.
I'm fighting for my life.
And so I limp in the car. We go to the first one, and then we go to the second one, and then the guy that the doctor there, he's got such an attitude, and he's just like, "Oh, what did you do? All right," and he's just talking to me crazy. Meanwhile, like, I've never gotten stitches before. Never really had a big injury before.
Big toe.
Okay. On my left foot, and he's just like, he puts the stitches in. Man, it hurts.
No medicine.
The needle, the needle to numb my toe felt crazy.
Okay, all right.
And then the first stitch he puts in, I felt, and so then I'm screaming. He was like, man, you got to tell me if it's numb. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never had this before. So then he starts putting it in, like he starts like numbing in the actual cut.
Okay.
And so then he stitches it up. And then I'm like trying to watch the NBA finals on my phone.
So that was your coping mechanism.
Yeah,
like, let me just see other men potentially get hurt.
Yeah, I'm watching that, and and then afterwards, I get the number of a podiatrist. I go to the podiatrist, and the podiatrist is like, "Why did you go to urgent care? You should have went to the emergency room." I was like, "I didn't go to the emergency room because." The emergency people
they told you
who have a gurney, who they come from the emergency room, told me I was good.
Yeah,
they told me I was being extra, like oh yeah, if you want to get an X-ray, you can.
Yeah,
and so I was in a boot for like a month. I was on painkillers, I was in severe pain.
Really?
Yeah, like it was really rough, and still had to move. Still had a ton of stuff to move.
Your girlfriend was
so it was rough. I mean, I'm doing a lot, but out of a boot, And then I, limping for a long time. I worked on one of the first things I ever like produced, and I had like a boot the whole time. And then I was afraid that like, what if a camera operator or something, or a weight or a sandbag falls on my foot,
What?
I just all this kind of anxiety and stuff. And then, now my toenails still, like, this was like a year and a half ago. My toenails still a little wonky. Though the toenail from then fell off, like on Christmas Day. It just like fell off, and then a new one was growing underneath. But
So you thought you had an emergency. It was an emergency to you because you hurt your foot.
yeah,
And the emergency team was like, no, that's not an emergency. If you want. And then the doctor you went to was like, yo, this is an emergency. You should have been. Did he say you would have had a different outcome if you would have went to the emergency room? Like, was he like, you waited too long and now you got a boot for a month?
no, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was just more like, this was serious, and you have insurance. Like, why did you go to urgent care? But I was just going because I thought, I just needed an X-ray. But yeah, I was in serious pain for like days.
I'm so sorry because I know how bad,
Your toe's important. Your big toe is very important.
the big toe and the baby toe. The baby, I broke my baby toe.
I actually had a toe injury on the same toe 15 years earlier.
Okay.
I pulled a drawer out in college all the way out, and then it fell on my toe. And then I had like some gunginal hematoma. I had a bunch of blood under my toenail, and then they had to drill a hole in it and get the blood out or whatever.
For real? How was that?
Yeah.
It seemed like you act like that was nothing, but dropping something like a regular just drop on the toe, you like, oh, that took you out. But the drilling a hole in your toe?
Well, this time it was cut right under the nail bed.
Okay.
So it's just like, this toe has been through it.
You need a guard on that toe.
Well, I don't know if I had on better shoes, if that would have did something.
What you have on?
I had on some like runners, and they had like a mesh top or
that's
whatever.
why you can't wear those.
But it's like, maybe if I had on boots, a steel toe, that might have really done damage to my whole foot.
No, it would have protected you.
No, they say like don't wear steel toe boots like when you deal with wildlife, because if they step on it,
it could crush your foot.
It could crush your foot. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Well, I'm happy you got the table moved. Was the table salvageable?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Still use the table every day. Table's fine.
I'll be pissed at that table.
Table's did way better than I did. Yeah.
So Rob Haze was limping for how long? A month? Limping for a month because of a table drop. Yeah. If it's anything you could change in the medical system, what would it be? Based on your experience.
I don't want to make it. I don't know why the guys made the assumption that I was good, but I feel like there was a lack of listening. Like it was a like, hey, I'm witnessing something that is bizarre, that is unique. Like my toe is bleeding. No one is like, oh, let's wipe the blood and see if there's see how bad this cut is. There's none of that.
How many stitches you got?
I got maybe 3.
3. Oh yeah, that's why they was like they was like, he in here clowning for 3 stitches.
I was hurting. I was hurting.
I'm not gonna knock that.
It's amazing that you can hurt your toe and have a headache immediately. Like my head's so far from my toe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any home remedies for treating stuff like if you get sick? I think B. Cormel said he used onions under his feet. Do y'all have any weird things that you do at home if you get sick?
I don't have any weird stuff.
Or just home
I feel
remedies?
like I'm just starting to discover over the counter cough medicine. Like I feel like when I was a kid, it was always Sudafed, but never like cough syrup.
Okay.
And now, like when I get a little cold and I get like drink some cough syrup, I'm like, oh, this really works.
Just straight cough syrup. That's your
Yeah.
thing, for no matter what.
No, not no matter what.
You're
Like
baby,
for a cough.
pass me the cough syrup.
No, no.
My toe hurt again. Give me some cough syrup.
I do regret never having lean. I didn't know that was gonna go away.
Yeah, that I don't think it was necessary. I don't
What?
think lean.
Nah,
I don't think it was.
I feel like I missed out.
You didn't. I tried it.
Yeah,
I don't think I tried it the right way.
I heard if you, like I don't know. Someone told me they sipped lean for the first time and they freestyled for like hours straight, and I'm like, that's what I'm missing. You know what I mean? Mixtapes I could have made.
You good. You don't need a mixtape. You can't you can't freestyle on late night TV.
Why not?
I guess you
They
can.
really can't stop you.
You know.
They really, as long as you do your time. If you put a freestyle in there, then what they gonna do?
When I think of lean, I think of Lil Wayne, and I feel like that is not.
They say he's the greatest.
I know, but he had seizures too for nonstop.
Did he
If you
have?
can't handle
He had seizures.
if you can't handle the toe, you can't handle no internal shit. So you good without lean. I don't know if it was directly, but they say long term usage of stuff.
But
like.
see, I'm gonna get in and get out. I'm gonna do a couple Carters and I'm gonna be done.
No,
I'm
you
not
good.
gonna pick up a guitar and stunt like my daddy and pop bottles. I ain't doing all that.
Lean is
I'm gonna do
gone.
Carter 1, Carter 2, and then give it up. You know, I just dedication 1. That's it, and then get out of there.
No, you can't. You gonna be wearing.
I'm not gonna make
you
a
know
milli.
what?
I don't need a milli. Just give me Fireman and I'm out.
No, you gonna be wearing Uggs. That probably is what you need. So protect your damn feet.
Yeah, no. If the big red boots help, then I
done with
would
them.
wear the big red boots.
I seen somebody at the airport like damn near fell out trying to take those boots off.
Yeah.
I'm good. How much do they cost?
Originally they were 300. Some places you can find them for 1,000. Other places you can find them for like 150. It just depends on.
I'm good.
There's some people that sell them for 40.
I know where you can find those downtown.
Yeah.
Downtown at the alley.
All right.
LA.
I might have to go get some red boots.
You good. You got Jordans, your toes healed. You making moves in the holiday, you making moves in the Hollywood scene.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else. I can't wait to see what else you got coming up. I can't wait to
thank
hear the
you.
little top secret. I think that's it.
Okay.
So be careful in these streets.
I am.
I think
am.
like be careful with your
Yeah.
limbs, and I feel like whatever that toe is. That's like a cat in 9 lives. You got about 7 more injuries on that toe.
Yeah. It's my jumping toe too. I feel like when I hoop, like that's the toe I probably jump from the most.
One thing I do want to say is I'm sorry you had that experience with the doctor that came in and was like, yo,
Yeah.
why are you here? And apparently,
You know what sucks is they send a bill afterwards.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we came through.
Yeah, but
and
you
it's like,
didn't.
y'all didn't do nothing. Like, is there any way I could protest this bill that y'all sent me? Because y'all just like, oh, yeah, no, we came over there.
The
We gave you
EMT?
misinformation.
oh yeah, EMD. They say like when I was growing up, you do not call the ambulance for nothing. You got to be dead.
Yeah.
And you seen all the movies from back in the day. They were still driving people to the emergency room. Like they weren't calling the ambulance. So it's like that bill will kill you.
Yeah.
You looking at me like I'm judging you, and I'm not.
No, I just, first time with insurance, I was a little
Like I
excited.
insurance, ball
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
EMT shouldn't be that much, but I know you won't call them no more.
I'm not gonna call them anymore because they was wrong. They did not do their job properly. Yeah.
What would have made you happy if they would have?
If they would have said you need to go to the hospital.
All right, y'all. I've been here talking with Rob Haze. Y'all check him out. Oh, give us a shout out. Where can we find you?
You can find me at Rob Haze on everything. ROBHAZE. The Inconsistent Podcast. It's on Patreon. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. Wherever you need to find it, it's there.
Tony's a cute. My love is pure. Tony's a cute. My love is pure.
Show your love for Taquita Love. Comedy is cure.
That bugs always. You want this? I had one dude was like, "Hey, you think you could bring a brother the clear machine home?" Oh, the clear machine. He was like, "Yeah, ma, you know the reviver. Clear."